guys. So recently I was involved in helping to create an Armenian Russian dictionary online, and one of the things I was helping with uh, is creating a favicon. It's this icon here. Now this particular one is not mine. It's a temporary icon that was created just so something shows up in the search engine results, and it shows up here in the browser tabs just to distinguish it until we have something better. And so we discussed with my friend who is making this dictionary. I'm just helping out with some data processing and some suggestions and testing and things like this. We liked the icon that Google uses, this one, in Google Translate. But of course we don't want to use the Google one for various reasons, and of course the most obvious reason is because it's used by Google. It's their icon, and also they use letters that we don't need. This is an Armenian Russian dictionary. They have Latin G and Japanese or Chinese character here, so it makes no sense to use it. So first thing I did was to do a little research. I went through a whole bunch of icon packs. There are a lot of high quality free open source icon packs out there. But I also looked at the commercial ones to see what they use for language or translation. And really, everybody mostly uses this icon. Again, I didn't like this icon much for a favicon, but I did not try it, to be honest. We did like this Google one, and it's also present in various icon packs, but with the different letters, usually A and the Eastern character. But I really wanted the one with Armenian and Russian characters. So while I was looking through them, I found that in Google Fonts and icons, there is this icon, and the cool thing is it can be downloaded as SVG, which is a vector format, and I downloaded it and to modify it further. Now I'm not a vector designer. I never designed anything or edited a vector file, but I edited a bunch of raster files before. I know some small tricks, like I knew how to modify this to what I need. And basically I don't have a Photoshop or anything installed, and I used the free, this was from my first attempt to demo, paint.net on Windows. So the way I created, and I'm not gonna go through exact steps here, I'm gonna go through the steps pretty quickly, but just to show how I've been doing it. Maybe you didn't know you can do it this way, and you can start using tricks as well. So first thing we need to do is open SVG file, and the cool thing is the SVG file as a vector, and you can as you open it in paint.net, you can specify a large file, and it will be opened. The raster file will be created of that size without any loss of quality. And the reason you want to create a large dimension file in raster, first, it's easier to edit it, and second, when you convert it back to SVG, which I want to do, because I wanted the favicon to be SVG, not the ICO file. It would be easier for the conversion tools to convert it to a better quality SVG file when the original file you're converting from is a large file with not many small details. So I think I went with 1000 by 1000. As you can see, it's a good quality file. What I don't want in this file is this empty space, because the favicons are very small. They're 16 by 16 or 20 by 20, something like. They're 16 by 16, I believe, but I think I have a magnifying on my computer set up. I don't probably want 25%, and the sharp is 20 by 20. So how do you get rid of this? Magic wand, convert selection, copy, just create a new file. Now here we want to create a new layer, the transparent one, paste it here, and get rid of the background layer. Good. So one thing, as I was working originally on my icon, and somehow I ended up with a not perfectly squared file. Now here I can see that it is a perfect square, which is good. But if it's off just by 1 pixel, and what I was doing, I don't know if I was doing it the best way or not, but for the previews it made sense to me to make it 16 by 16, the SVG file original, which can be expanded like we just did now without loss of inequality. But when you blow it up later, this 1 pixel becomes 10 pixel or 100 pixel, depends on how large of a file you make. So it's important, somewhat important, that here we have a perfect square, and we do. So next thing we need to do is get rid of these letters, because we want to put our letters. And one of the things I do want to keep the original layer, because I want to put my letters in about the same spot. But so we need another layer where we will remove these. I'm gonna turn off the original layer, and the way I remove it is usually, actually, I'll create a new blank layer, and I'll draw a black box on it. Not exactly. Oh, sorry. With the control, it will add the selection. And I'll just paint over it. It's better to do this way than just to paint inside of the G letter, because we might end up with some border around the G. You could see it, but here we just painted over and merged the layer down. And for the other character, we can do it this way. We can create a rectangle like this, and modify the selection to turn it sideways like this. Now I'm not because I'm showing the idea, I don't care about doing it perfectly. So once you do this, you can just hit the delete button. It's going to get rid of that. And just delete this. Done. So now we just need to add a couple of letters here. First one, I'm gonna add the easiest one would be to add into this space, and I'm just gonna do A to Z just for the demonstration purposes. We're gonna make a really large 50. You can select whatever fonts you need, the size you like. Now, we can put a letter. First of all, we want to put the letter on a separate transparent layer. And of course we can, it's going to be a Z, that can be anywhere you like, but we can turn on the original layer and make it the opacity on it pretty low, just so we can see where it is. And we can go back to our letter layer and move it where we need it. Okay, I think you got the idea. And for the other letter, we'll do it this way. For now, I'm gonna turn off this layer, create a new layer for letter A, make a letter A here, approximately here. And the way I'll make this letter a hole in this picture, in this layer, I will select it. Sorry, to make sure the letter layer is selected. I'm gonna select it with the magic wand. I'm gonna turn it off. I'm gonna select this layer I need, turn it back on, make sure it's selected, and then hit the delete button. And voila. We can turn this off, and basically this is our logo, our favicon. First, I'm gonna save the original, so if I need to edit, I will edit it later, but then I will save the flat PNG file, which is gonna go with the default flat. So now we have a transparent one layer file. It's a raster file, and now we need to convert it to an SVG, and of course we would like to preview it in the browser. So we'll talk about that. I'm gonna close this because I don't think we need to come back to this for this demo. Of course, in real life, I went through a lot of iterations of modifying this picture. I tried different fonts, different sizes before I like the results on a small picture. So here's our PNG file. Another thing. If you noticed, I left it black, and black is not the color I wanted for our image, but in my experience doing this, I noticed that all the conversion tools, when I go from raster to a vector SVG, it would lose a color. Also, if I would make a white background for the Z letter and the letter A also white, it would also lose this. I guess that's just the way algorithm for conversion works. I would need to read up on this a little more because it's really interesting now that I worked with these tools a little bit how they do it. But you know, that's the point. There's no point at this moment to make this white backgrounds or make this black image of a different color. We can fix it later, and I'll show you how. So the next thing I wanted to do was to convert it to an SVG file. The first thing that came to my mind was, okay, there are two tools online that can help me with it. I'm gonna copy the path, and I just googled convert SVG to PNG to SVG, and gave me a couple of results. Now from these two, I really like this one. Well, I like both of them, but this one somehow, well, first of all, it gave me a little better result for some reason, and also this one, for this one, I could specify the size, the final size of the SVG file. Now there are two ways to do it. Either I just do it here, or I can do it here, and then there's another tool to resize the SVG. That makes no sense. There's another way to do it by editing the SVG source file itself. Anyway, when you do it once, it's fine. When you do it many times, it gets annoying. And I'll show you also what I did. Anyway, let's use this just for the demo purposes. We'll need to select the PNG file. It's uploaded. Make sure you do the 16 by 16. I did not change anything else here. Alright, we'll download. And we want to see what it looks like. And that's what it looks like. It's actually not bad. When I was doing it, trying with Armenian and Russian letters, it looked a lot worse than this. Anyway, it took me a while to come up with the one that I liked. So, but if you are doing it, if you're doing many different iterations, it gets annoying that each time you have to come to the website, upload, convert, download. There must be a better way to do it, and there is. There are a couple of command line tools that I'll talk about, and I also read that Inkscape can also do it. I did not want to install Inkscape, another application, which is probably a great application. Read a lot about it, never used it, but I did not want another application. So I googled around, and one application that was coming up a lot was this potrace. Now it's a Linux application. I'm on Windows, but thankfully now we have Linux layer for Windows. Oh, Windows layer for Windows, something like this. Linux basically for Windows, and I have that installed. And we can use a few Linux tools to do what we need. There are a couple of tools that we need. One is convert. It was actually pre-installed on Ubuntu. The potrace on the page where I read it about it, how to install it was basically apt-get sudo apt install potrace, I think, and also this tool was part of some other library. I'm sure if you can Google how to install it. It's nothing hard there. Anyway, so the reason we need these tools is potrace does not work with PNG files directly, so we need to convert it to PGM file. Now we use convert for this. And then after potrace, for some reason it would lose the 16 by 16 size that I was creating. Oh no, sorry, potrace. I don't think it had the size option to create the 16 by 16, and I really wanted the resulting file to be small, just so I can basically drag and drop it into in here just to see how it looks. If I immediately see it looks crappy, you know, sorry, do it fast, do it fast. We can drop it here, immediately see how it looks small, before even trying to put it in a tab. And then go back into the paint.net, redo it, save it, and then convert it to SVG and just, you know, open it up again and see, you know, take a look again how it looks small in the browser. So this is the sequence of the tools that I came up to run in a single go. Basically feed the result of each command to the next one, and we end up with the file that we need. And this is how we do it. First, we need to go back to my folder. All right, and okay, I use the untitled here. We'll fix our tools and we'll run it. But first, of course, I'm gonna delete this SVG file that I generated using the online tool. Just gonna delete it. And well, let's talk about the commands again. So the convert command will take the PNG file and convert it to PGM file. The alpha remove, I think it removes the some transparency stuff. So instead of the resulting output file, we put this at the end, and this will basically take the result of this command. Instead of creating a file, it will feed it to this command, which is potrace, which will convert the resulting PGM file into SVG file. The O option is the output file, but we don't specify the file again. We use it with we give it a dash, and it's gonna feed the results into the next command, which is here. It's gonna resize it to the 16 width by 16 height. Keep it in SVG format, and I'm just gonna save the output file into SVG. That's how it works. So we go back here, and here we have this file. See, well, we can just double click. Of course, it's gonna open an edge. We can also drag and drop it here. And to see, well, let's say we like it. You can increase to see if it still looks okay with the control and the scroller wheel. Control 0 will go back to the 16 by 16. Let's say it looks okay. Let's say you're happy with the results, or you've done several iterations like this, and you finally happy with the result. Now you still want to check how it looks. Oh no, the next thing we need to do is we need to make sure it's it has the right color, and we also need to make sure the background here is gonna remain white no matter what the color um, of the tab is, because we have, even here we have the active color, active tab is of one color, the inactive tabs are a little darker, and then you have what if the person is using a different theme, a dark theme, or a different browser, it has a custom theme or something like this. You always want to make sure that the image looks good. So how do you edit it to make it to do the things we want to do? I found this boxy SVG editor. It's very popular. It's really good. I was surprised how good it is. So we'll launch it. Now I had to register just so I can save it later to the disk. And so I'm already logged in, so I'm gonna open from disk. Go back to demo folder. Take the SVG file I created. For some reason they like to open it in a separate tab, but anyway. As you can see, originally I saved it and resized it to 16 by 16, but now it's open in a large file, in a large size, and it didn't lose any quality, so it's great. So first, let's add the white background. The way I'm gonna do it, I'm just gonna, like, there's no paint that will like fill in this data, that in this editor at least. I suspect it's not as easy in the vector format. So in this tool, what you can do is to use the Spline Tool to create a multi-angle shape. We're gonna basically draw like this, shape like this, behind the black color, and fill it with a white color. And we're gonna bring it back behind this top layer or the object. So one thing I noticed, anyway, this is something I learned as I was working with this tool. I'll explain later. Basically, when you draw like this, it has this thick line, which is a stroke of 1. I did undo, Control U, and I'm just gonna draw it like this, and then we can modify it. So basically, Spline Tool, and let's draw. And I'm trying to take as much of real estate as I can here. I'm not too worried about this thick line at this moment because I'm gonna remove it later. Now it fills in with a gray color that's default. Alright, so we're gonna we close this polygon, and the way we remove the stroke is here. We just make the width 0, gone, and we also want to make it of a white color. It's default to gray, so we're just gonna make it white. Alright. Now, next thing we want to do is to edit it a little bit. Just, I don't know, I wanted to make it as much as possible, but I guess to cover as much as possible of space, but I guess it doesn't matter. Doesn't really matter. Anyway, just something, because we can't edit those letters here anyway. So anyway, it's here, and then we need to bring it back behind. So you go to Object, Lower to Back. Boom. Now we have a white background, and next thing we need to do is to make this of a different color. We select Edit, it's automatically selected the top layer, and you use the Fill tool to make it whatever color you want. Let's make it blue. That's what I did. Anyway, and then just save it. Save it is, guys. You can override this if you want. We'll just for now we'll just make it like this. Okay, I'll go back here. This rsvg. You can open it. Boom, there it is, blue. Now, next thing we need to do is to preview. There are a couple of ways you can preview. One is to use an online tool for that. Let's see if I have a not ready, but let's do this. Check. By the way, there's a plethora of amazing tools there for this. One of these tools is this favicon checker. It's probably the best out there. Many people recommend it. Not the checker, we need the generator. And you select your favicon image. You select the SVG file that you used. And it shows you here how it's gonna look at the browser, possibly on the web page, on the desktop, I don't know, on Mac iOS. And this is what I was talking about, the white background. If it wasn't here, you would not see the letter Z here, and it probably would not see the letter A as well. There was another tool that I liked. That? I really want to show you. Anyway, that tool just showed you all kind of combinations of like this one only shows the active folder in Chrome and active in Chrome, but on a dark theme. The other one showed it in active, inactive, on different, on like a mobile, light theme, dark theme, and it was useful. I found it useful. Sorry, I don't have the link ready. So, but I still wanted to see how that looks here on the website. And first thing I thought that I would be able to do would to go back to go to the DevTools, to the Elements page, head, and just replace the path here. with the file path from instead of HTTP, you go file colon // and you have the path, Windows path to the file with the forward slashes. But that didn't work, and when I started reading online, it turned out that it does not work in Google for security reasons. It was supposed to work in Firefox. It did not. Also, did not work. It gave me a warning that it depends on the website or something. Anyway, it did not work. So the way to do it was to, but I really wanted to see it there. Was to upload it somewhere and basically specify the path, the web path, not the local machine path, file path. And that sounded like a lot of work. And then I remembered a tool. There's a Perl tool, tool written in Perl, which I always have handy. Perl, not the tool. I've never used the tool. I just read about it. That will serve your files from whatever folder you are at. There are other tools out there that will do the same. It will just spin up the localhost web server, very simple one, and will feed. Well, first of all, it will show you the local folder contents as if it was, a real web server. Well, it is a real web server, a simple one though. And also, it would serve you the files. Now, I didn't want to go research what tools are out there. I knew about this tool and I just used it. I have portable Perl installed. Not installed. Well, I have it portable. Don't know why I didn't install Perl. I used it quite a lot, but portable works just as fine. Anyway, I have it running already. The tool called HTTP this, and let's go to our folder and run it for this. Yep. So if we go to this website, here's our file listing. But I wanted it in a browser. I wanted to see the Svg file in the browser favicon. So we're just gonna substitute our localhost, and that should work. I'm just gonna need to change it to Untitled, and we're gonna put this in the browser tools, in the dev tools, sorry, in console. So if you look here, this is the current icon that's deployed, and we're gonna look at our local one. Boom, and it looks good. I actually like how it looks, and that's it. This is the icon that hopefully we're gonna use. Now I made this one. Yeah, I didn't. I made this one. No, that's not the one I made. I made this one. and actually look pretty good also. Um, so this is pretty much it. You can simply just use it on a web page as such. Of course, there are other things that you can do, and this is the tool that really helps you out with this. You can give it a file. You can actually give it a large raster file. It will just do like and not worry about the SVG file. It's just I really wanted the SVG file. It's small, and you know it can be resized without loss of quality, and you don't need to provide your web page with different sizes of the PNG files. It will just take the SVG file and use and resize it to whatever size it needs on whatever the device or application it's using. But there are still a few things that that are recommended to do, and this tool will show you. You know, for example, favicon on iOS. That's how it would look. Can you can choose this. This is how it will look on Android Chrome, in Windows, Metro style, etc., etc. And then if you click the generate favicons, it will create all the variations of the files that you need to use, that you might want to use. But I don't know if this project becomes big or bigger. If we actually get some people to use it, we might do that. But for now, we'll just use the simple icon, favicon SVG, and that should be enough for our purposes at the moment. Anyway, that's it. I hope you saw something useful here. See you later.